What's up, guys? This is your boy, Captain Fangwolf here. And before anything gets said or started, I'm going to say right here and now, as well as link it in the description, this video is 100% protected by copyright under the guides of fair commentary and fair use. And I will link all that in the description, so that way certain little pricks can't have this video taken down. And with that out of the way, we are going to react to this channel, which a friend of mine, who shall remain anonymous, sent me the link. And honestly, I was skeptical at first when I read it. But after watching the first 14 minutes of it, I am actually appalled at the actions of this supposed human being. And all I'm going to say right here and now, these are not humans. These are clearly aliens of some kind. Because no sane, proper-brained human would think this way. But given the current scenario of the world, common sense and rational thinking has gone out the window many years ago. So without further ado, we can get into the video, and I will point out that I will be pausing and making commentary notes as well, so without further ado, let's get into it.
For the people that might be curious watching the video, people that might be a little more curious about seeing somebody who is zoo exclusive.
I'm just going to stop that right there, right off the bat. Anyone in the right mind would not be curious about that. Anyone with a proper right mind would look at that and see, this is fucking disgusting. Why the hell are you doing this? You clearly need some type of help. You should go seek that help. This is an illness and you really should get treated. Anyways, let's continue.
Someone who themselves is a zoophile and practices it, where I would consider myself a zoophile, but, at the moment, that's not really something that I'm doing.
And that right there. It really doesn't matter. It's frankly illegal, regardless. And to post about it publicly on social media, like, really? Also, for the record, I will just be posting this video to my other social media platforms, which are linked in my About section, so that way they can't have them removed. And yes, I do think outside the box. Go fuck yourself. I don't take no chances. And I'm also not the one for being pushed around. Anyways, with that little side rant off topic a little bit, let's get back into the video.
So, just for the record, we are both zoophiles. And
Of course you are.
you're my closest zoo friend and really helped me accept myself. And
Which
in
is
fact,
not
you
something
made a
you should
post
ever
on
accept.
Zooville, and in that particular post, it was about you coming out about things, and you linked an episode of this.
Okay. I'd just like to point out that there are certain things you should feel comfortable coming out as. Like, you should be perfectly fine and comfortable coming out as, like, gay, bi, trans, or whatever the others are these days. Don't get mad at me, I don't keep up with the trends anymore. But things like this, you should not be in any way, shape, or form proud of. Let alone be proud of coming out publicly. That should not be something you should ever be proud of. before I just decide to rant, let's continue.
Easier Than Thou podcast about coming.
Sorry guys. I had to stop that right there. I really should turn off notifications. I had to stop that right there because I would like to point out that this particular podcast she is referring to has been terminated from any big and proper social media platforms. And I'd also like to point out, and this will make me sound like an ass, that a certain member of said podcast recently died. And yes, some of you may say that's terrible. Why would I say that? Well, you should understand that, to me, if you're openly okay with hurting animals in any way, and this includes the way that these people are talking about, I frankly don't see you as human, and you don't deserve basic human rights. So, frankly, if you die, I will be basically doing the happy dance. Because I don't care. And you can call me whatever you want in the comments below. But I will call it like it is, and I will do it until the day I die. Anyways, let's get on with the video.
Out. And that just really inspired me to make this video and to go forward with being more open about it.
Right. So, a podcast that is basically hated, outcasted, and frankly should have been completely terminated fully a long time ago, about these sick freaks, and yes, I'm using that term here, who openly admit to sexually abusing animals, and you can argue that it's not, but in reality it does hurt them. It's already been scientifically and factually proven. If any of you decide to actually, watch the Animal Planet documentaries that they had about this a long while back, or if you simply take the time to, open a book, look it up, there are plenty of information out there to tell you it does hurt the animals. And there's a reason people don't do it. One, because, again, it hurts the animals, and two, it's just not natural. We have our own species. There are plenty of other humans you can go around and have a fling with. And there are plenty of actual platforms just for that. So I don't get why you're doing this to poor innocent animals. And also, I'd also like to point out that a small fraction of the air quote furry community, and I do say air quote because I don't really see them as part of it, because they pretty much just wear latex animal suits. I'm talking like dominatrix leather type. Now, if these type of individuals were to meet up with, say, these zoophile individuals, see, I would see nothing wrong with that picture. Because, again, it's human on human. They're just pretending to be animals. Now, see, that would be a little more normal and could be a little more accepted, regardless of if it's still weird as shit or not. But this just crosses the line of will never ever be accepted, nor will it ever be considered normal. And only if you are in complete la-la land will it ever be considered normal. Anyways, let's go.
Any comment on that?
Oh, I'm just really glad to hear that, and it's always a risk putting yourself out there and telling your story, and my hope has been to help others find acceptance so that they don't blunder through the seemingly endless darkness of denial and repression that so many of us have experienced, and it just makes me sad that
you people have never gone through any of that. Don't even claim that you know what that's like. when none of you have any fucking idea. When there have actually been legitimate... what's the word I'm looking here? What's the word I'm looking for? Communities. I know that's not the one I'm looking for, but it's the one I'm going to use. Legitimate communities who have actually gone through this type of oppression, and it's actual real oppression for real reasons. So to say that you know what that's like, no you don't. Because the type of oppression you're getting is because you are doing heinous and illegal acts towards innocent animals who cannot speak English. They cannot fucking speak. Get that through your skulls. They cannot speak. And so with that, I'm gonna flat out say, all of you are fucking loons. Frankly, you need to either be locked up or just dropped off on a deserted island and left to die. That's all you people deserve. And no, I'm not sorry for saying it, because it's the truth. If you refuse to get help because you desperately need it, then the only other option we got is to kill you. Those are your options. Now, unfortunately, society doesn't solve problems the logical way anymore. So, it'll never happen, but frankly, those are the two options we should be giving these people. I mean, I, frankly, am more fond of the latter, but that's just my point of view. Anyways, let's continue with the video. Let's see what more they can give us, so I can criticize and chew their ass.
Some people will never see the end of that, and I'm overwhelmed with joy in your case that I was able to directly help you in that way.
Absolutely.
And
I would not accept help from any of you in any way.
Exceeded my hopes for making that particular post.
You all are fucking insane.
I went through a whole lot of mental pains, really just refusing to...
I'm going to stop that right there. Honey, you have not gone through any mental pain whatsoever. To say that you went through legit mental pain over trying to come out as something that is frowned upon for a reason, you literally have no grounds to say that. Me, myself, who has actually struggled to come out as gay ever since the early 2000s. And that was back when the friggin' Christian shit was at its highest. If anyone who was born back then would remember. So anyone who would remember that would know what actual mental headache is. So to say these people know what that's like, frankly, irritates and infuriates me. They have no idea of what God. I was going to say a real and legit struggle at the same time. Rejuggle. God, that sounds wrong. They have no idea what a real, legit struggle, both physically and mentally, is. So to say that they have an idea or they know what it's like, you're just talking out your ass.
Accept who I was for the longest time, and I mean, I would go through some hard periods going through my teens where I would be really into it and know and accept myself like, yes, I am a zoophile, but there weren't those kinds of resources that really talked about it in an open way and
because they're
really
this bitch is gonna give me a fucking aneurysm, I swear. The reason that there is no open resources to talk about it is because it should not be something to be talked about. It's literally something no one should be doing. That's why no one's talking about it. Because they expect you, as growing individuals and or grown adults, to know basic right from wrong. And if you don't fucking understand that, then I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, let's get back to the video, shall we?
That perception that the mainstream has about zoophilia. So every time that I would feel so ashamed and alone that I would just lock all of that in and really just curl up into a ball, really. And I know that you kind of went through a similar experience coming out, and you also had a struggle to come to accepting yourself. Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, well, I certainly relate to wanting to curl into a ball and just hide away from all the ugliness that the internet, that comes up on the internet when you search for any sort of these things. And that's definitely been a big struggle of mine, having those feelings and those thoughts over the course of my whole life, and not having any person I felt like I could talk to about or would even beyond just understand and accept, but be able to actually relate to. And
You are asking anyone else to be understanding and to accept something that they would plainly see as morally and frankly stupidly wrong, and yet you feel ashamed because we choose not to? I'm not sorry, but that's not something wrong with me. That's something wrong with you. And anyone who else out there who is sane enough to understand that will say the same thing. But anyways, on with the video.
I struggled to find myself for many years and struggled with my identity as a result of that, and it sort of all fell into place when I just removed myself from society. I turned off my phone, I went and hiked up a mountain, and I just wrote it all out and admitted it all to myself first, and I looked at it, my whole history.
Not to sound like an ass, but you should have stayed on that mountain. Why you chose to come back down is beyond me. But I think you would have been better off at the top of the mountain. But again, that's just my opinion.
With these feelings and these thoughts, and I just said, okay, I accept this. And that was when my world changed. My mate came along not too long after that, and I found this community and found the Zero Year the Now podcast. And I'm not going to say that everything's perfect, that I feel 100% okay. It's still a daily work in progress, but it's so much easier to just be at a point where I'm okay.
As someone who pretty much works in the field of animal rescue, rehabilitation, and animal care, hearing this frankly frustrates me. Because these people, who clearly don't have a functioning brain, don't seem to understand that they are actually hurting the animals by doing this. And I know everyone who's gonna defend them is gonna say I'm wrong. But my defense to that is, are you really gonna argue with someone who has worked in this field his whole life, who has seen shit that you have never seen and never will see? You're gonna tell him he doesn't know what he's talking about? I hate to break it to you, but you're not really gonna persuade me to think that I'm wrong when I do this shit for a living. And what you won't know, and what most of my fan base doesn't know, I actually was raised on a farm. And yes, this is off topic to the story, but it is relevant, I assure you. I was actually raised on a farm growing up. So I have seen, and I have had to do, some incredibly dark shit. And frankly, I know what it's like. As someone who does care about animals, that's why I went into the profession, well, professional profession care. Why they qualify that as having to be professional anymore is kind of, ridiculous. But frankly, to me, having to grow up on a farm, having to learn to slaughter animals for food, when you actually care about them and you treat them as you would treat an actual human, that is where the line stops. And frankly, that's where these type of people should stop the line. It shouldn't go anywhere past treating them like they're humans. That is where the line should stop. So to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, you clearly have never been through true hardship. And you've never actually had to deal with real reality. And so, I ask you to think long and hard before you go judging or questioning me. Because frankly, if you grew up the way I did, you'd see the world the same way. But then again, I'm from the generation who still sees the world as it should be seen. And yes, that does make me sound like a bastard, but frankly, that's the truth. There are others who see the world the same way, and frankly, that's a good thing. Anyways, let's continue with this video.
Absolutely.
And I can look myself in the mirror and say it. I'm a zoo. And my partner is the love of my life. And
Again,
I love her romantically, physically. That is okay.
No, it's not.
I think so too.
In no way, shape, or form is it okay.
It's really amazing to hear how you overcame that
Not to mention
struggle
legally.
and came to that realization and came to accept yourself for who you are. And
You shouldn't be accepting
would you say
that.
that you've had to make some sacrifices along the way?
Certainly. Sacrifice.
Well, you sacrificed your basic humanity for one. You've sacrificed your family's love and respect for you. And you've pretty much sacrificed your chances of ever being in a normal, fully functioning society around other normal human beings. You have basically just sacrificed everything worth living for. And all of pursuit of this fake happiness. I'll never understand it.
That might be a bit of a strong word, at least so far. There's been awkward moments where, my mom in particular, as any good parent does, just wants to see their kid find someone, be happy.
No, absolutely 100% no. No self-respecting, proper-minded parent would be okay with this. Frankly, any proper-minded and good-brained parent would either give you the ultimatum of straighten the hell out or get the fuck out of my house. Or if you were still under the age, they would pretty much just take a paddle and drag it across your ass. Which is what parents should be doing when kids misbehave, such as this. either discipline them properly at a young age so they grow up properly and understand what is right and what is wrong, or risk them turning into this. Oy, Frank, I'm not going to be sorry, but if my kid did this, frankly, I would punish myself because I would have failed as a parent to properly raise my child. And also, I'd be kicking that child to the curb because I would no longer see him as my child or her. And you can call me heartless all you want, but it's not normal and it never will be. Anyways, moving on before I start ranting again.
And, she set me up with someone to go on a date with. And,
Mm-hmm.
I liked her, but I didn't. But I had these mixed feelings. And
Yep,
I wanted
see,
to be
she was...
polite, but I didn't. It was just...
Yep, see? That parent was actually a legit parent who was trying to straighten out her child because she could see he was fucking up. She was trying to put him back into shape. Picture it like a warped knife or a broken tool. The mother was trying to fix this broken tool so it would work properly. But clearly, she must have used some duct tape because that patch job didn't hold.
It was really awkward, and so that's what led me to finally come out and say, look, I have someone and I'm happy. Yes, she has 4 legs, but just to hopefully avoid those kinds of things in the future where...
And it was at this point he realized that his mother was screaming at him to get the hell out of her house. And rightfully so. As any sane parent would do. Either that or they would get rid of the dog. Actually, frankly, I'd probably get rid of both. Just to be safe. Like, I would send the dog off to adoption to a good home. And then I would send my child probably to an army camp. Army boot camp, yeah. And then I'd probably send him to a Christian camp just for shits and giggles. Yeah, that's definitely something I would do. Just to get the message across that you fucking up. Big time.
Someone else's feelings might be at stake.
Yeah, and to really curb those perceptions, you see your mate as like the love of your life, yeah, and what do you both do together for like fun and play
God.
and like what's that like? How does that work?
Well, I basically spending time with her is my number one priority, and I wish I could, if I could, I would just spend 100% of my time with her. I'd never work because it's just so much fun, and so I take pleasure in simple things. A walk in the woods, I could do that all day. I love it, and she enjoys those things as well, and just I try to spend at least a couple hours just being active outdoors with her every day. And I just take pleasure in watching her enjoy herself, even if it's with another person or with another dog or with me or by herself. So that's a bit of a snapshot of our daily routine. I'm fortunate to live in an area where exercising her is possible.
Now, you see, this particular part right here would make it seem like he's a normal person, doing normal things as any dog owner would do, such as taking them out, playing with them, taking them on walks, stuff like that. See, that to me would be a normal behavior for a normal person. But I know, as well as most of my viewers who are watching this know, it's about to go downhill from here. So buckle up and enjoy the ride.
And I've put myself in a position where I could give her what I imagine to be the best possible life for her that I could provide.
And 100% just clarifying for people, the vast majority of the time that you spend with your mate, it's not like sexual or sexualized. It's just being like a good couple doing normal things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's too early in her life to do those sorts of things really to that full extent yet. So,
Yeah.
and that's another part of being zoo exclusive is it's an individual adventure. It's not like we have all these role models around us say this is what's right, this is what's wrong. There is obviously you can
There will never be a public role model for stuff like this. And there's a good reason why there won't be. 'Cause it's not normal. None of it is. Unless scientists somehow invent a way to where dogs can walk on two legs and speak English perfectly, maybe then people will consider this type of shit normal. Oh, yeah. I should just shut up. I shouldn't be giving them ideas. Ugh. Okay, back to the video before I have a friggin' brain attack or something.
tell consent yes or no if you can read basic body language, but it's still an individual adventure, and you get to know your partner and you get to know yourself, and I'm still learning a lot.
That's very true. And
Nope.
yeah, so kind of going off on that leg about, you can tell when they're consensual and such. A lot of people struggle with that because, they don't understand how dogs mature and
This is really mentally hurting my head. I'm sorry, but it's you who doesn't understand how a dog works. Body language or not, maturity or not, does not matter. You just don't do this. I feel bad for any of these poor animals who have crossed these people's paths. I honestly feel bad for them. Let's try and make it through the rest of the video if I can. I just want to reach through the screen and freaking bitch slap both of them.
how zoophiles don't go after like puppies and small dogs and stuff. They just want to perceive us as like evil people who, if we get close to their dog.
Rapists.
Yeah, it's like when we
I understand that you're not, quote, evil, but you're not exactly saints either. And again, doggy knows speak English. This ain't Lassie. This ain't Fido. They can't talk. So you are essentially raping the animal. I swear to God, people like this, I am surprised they ever finished school, they ever got jobs. Oh, and I feel bad if they are actually married to other humans. I truly feel bad for them. Not the individuals. I feel bad for their life partners, actual humans, and anyone who knows them. Frankly, if it was me, I would have just cut the rope and watched that ship sink. Frankly, I would have just jumped in the water and went down with the ship. Put them on the fucking life raft. Oh, I already know this video is demonetized, but oh wait, I don't have monetization, so they can't demonetize me.
see your dog walking down the street, we're not thinking, oh wow, I want to tap that. Like, that's not how it is. And,
Oh,
Well, we
fucking
can't
shit,
speak
it's
for
not.
all of us.
well, I can't speak for all zoophiles, yeah, but I know for me, it's definitely like that, and it's, you know, if you're going to be with a dog that is not sexually mature, which is at least like a year and a half, 2 years old for a lot of breeds, it's like a lot of us consider that like pedophilia in a way. If you're doing like intercourse and such, that's just how it is. So I really want to clarify that for the people watching this video that, there are.
Oh, and I'd like to clarify that you have no fucking clue what the definition of these words you're using mean. Pedophilia has no place amongst the animal kingdom. Not sorry, but that is the cold, hard reality. It is specifically reserved for the human race. What you do to these animals, we have a word for that. And it's called a fucking rapist. That is it. That is what you are. That is the correct term and word you should be using to describe yourself. Oh. How this particular video even got past the YouTube monetization censors of any kind is beyond me. But this just shows that YouTube is biased as fuck.
Ethical guidelines that people follow.
Right, absolutely. I mean, it is primarily about having that emotional bond, and that's what I've learned through having at least one really meaningful, non-sexual, romantic attraction.
This is going to be a little off topic, but anyone who's watching this, do they remember that what the hell was that movement that got shut down so fast? The Steal Your Kids movement? I'm pretty sure that's not the actual name of it, but anyone remember that? Yeah, you guys remember the whole Steal Your Kids and we'll make them gay movement bullshit? This is basically that movement. So how it hasn't burst into a tire fire and melted away, I will never understand. Because that shit burst into a fucking dumpster fire the minute it got going. So how the hell is this not a complete tire fire? This should be interesting.
To another dog who's belonged to a friend of mine, and that's what really taught me who I am, I would say, was that I could find that love and that bond without the physical aspect of sex.
And another thing to know, also going along with that kind of romantic but not sexual relationship that you had with your friend's dog, I just want to clarify and really help people understand that this isn't about one's personal desires for, sexual gratification or anything like that, but it's pretty much purely about caring about the well-being of your mate, of the animals that you love, and it's not about...
For starters, if I was his friend, I would be cutting all contact. You would not be coming anywhere near my dog. And if I caught you anywhere near my dog, you'd be looking down the end of a 12 gauge. And frankly, all the points they're trying to make are points of proper human and animal interaction. So the fact that they're trying to pass that off of what they're trying to claim is normal, that's not going to fly. No one is going to believe that. And if anyone does believe it, kindly step out back so I can take this baseball bat and do a little redecorating upstairs. because something is loose and needs to be hammered back into place.
Controlling them or forcing them to do sexual acts.
Right. It's the beauty. A true zoo will know it's the beauty of that mutual bond that you find with one another when you're able to communicate on a two-way street.
Exactly, and there's gonna be a
I'd like to also point out, anyone remember, what the hell is that girl's name? I honestly, what the hell was her name? It was that blonde chick that was on YouTube back in, early 2016. She was known as the Dog Lover. So anyone who remembers that will know who I'm talking about. But do you remember when she came out? Do you not remember what happened to her? She got lit up and blasted. And for very legit and proper reason. Because as then, just as now, it is sick, illegal, immoral, and just not something any right-minded human being would be doing. So she got shunned, and rightfully so. And frankly, you two deserve the exact same treatment. Moving on.
whole bunch of resources in the description for people who are interested and really want to dig in and kind of understand this stuff, but even like professional dog trainers, they'll masturbate their dogs during training.
Oh, no dog trainer does that. Where are you getting your facts from? I guarantee she's a fucking blonde. This bitch has gotta be a fucking blonde, at best, to think that professional dog trainers, who make well over a few thousand per client, per session, do that to their dogs that they're training. I hate to break it to you, but that's not a thing. And I know plenty of dog trainers. There's actually 3 professional trainers who live up the street from me. And I can tell you right now, because I actually work for one of their medical wings on their training course, they don't do that. So to even suggest that a professional dog trainer would do such a thing to a client's dog that they're paying almost, I think the rating price that we're charging is like $2,000. Depending on wherever you go, each place is different prices. But for this instance, we'll say $2,000. So for this professional trainer in question to be sexually assaulting a client's dog that said client is paying $2,000 plus to have their animal trained, and you say it's normal? What backwater state are you from? And I say this because I know I'm from almost a mountain state myself, but even we know that that's a crock of shit. So by all means, explain your logic there. Like, seriously.
Because it
Is
helps
that
them.
right?
Yeah, it is, because it helps them with stress release and
No,
feeling
it's
better,
not.
and it's used as a training tool.
No,
what's
it's fucking
amazing
not.
is that, with this consensual stuff with a sexually mature animal, people will be all up in arms about that, but
Oh, Animal
not
Planet would have a
against,
fucking field day with you.
these, like, breeding, I don't know what you'd call them there.
Animal Planet and the Discovery Channel would have a fucking field day with your brains. They really would. they would blow all of your shit so high out of the water that you would not be landing back on Earth. Come on, Fang. Only 27 minutes in. We can do this. Ugh.
Like facilities where they breed dogs, basically, where they forcefully take semen out of one dog and then forcefully inject it into another, and it's like, how is that
Okay, yep. I'll give that one to them. There are places that do that, and it's called artificial insemination, which is a perfectly logical and understanding thing. I can say this because I've had to do that with plenty of my farm animals before, and the reason being that either one of the two parties involved, animal-wise here, is usually ends up being an a-hole. 9 times out of 10, one of the animals is the asshole. So that is why artificial insemination is a thing. Now, other places will do natural conception, but not all places do it that way for the facts that I've already stated. So, good luck arguing that. But I already know you're going to. But still, good luck.
Yeah. And it's because people view animals as property. They're not viewing them as another living being.
Right here is where she starts to sound like one of those crazy vegan feminists. I hate to break it to you, honey, but animals are property. Domestic animals, yes, we treat as family, but they're still technically our property. Because we own them, we pay the bills for them, we feed them, we clean up after them. We basically do everything for them. So by that logic, we own them. So to say that this is all wrong and that we're treating them as property, well, honey, that's basically what they are. You seriously need to have your fucking brain examined. Because you clearly don't have any proper means or any fucking common sense whatsoever. Anyways, moving on.
And that deserves the same rights. And that's what really gets me about this whole thing. So
Right,
yeah.
and that's a huge debate in and of itself. That what
No, it's
artificial
not.
insemination and what you mentioned, and
It's
yeah,
not
we
a
could-
fucking debate
we
at
could
all.
Jump down any number of rabbit holes.
for sure.
You are clearly vegans.
Now, you had that post about
And you're fucking feminists,
coming
clearly.
out. Do you want to mention exactly how you came out or who you came out to?
I feel bad.
Yes, so
I feel sorry for the poor bastard who had to be his coming out to. I honestly feel bad for that individual. Because frankly, if it was me, I would have just packed up my shit and left.
it coming out is like anything where you have to convey an idea and do it in a thoughtful way that's respectful to, in my case, me and my partner, but also my audience, who in this case was my mom. And
Oh,
I thought a lot of
it was his mother. Oh, no. And you can only imagine that that poor woman is crying because she knows she has failed as a parent. For your son to grow up and think this is okay, you have basically realized at that point, I failed. I failed him. This is my fault. I'm the reason he turned out to be a wackadoodle. I knew I should have beaten him over the fucking ass when he decided to screw up my freaking shit. Oh my god. Only 28 minutes in. Oh. Jesus. And this is a 50-minute oh, sweet Jesus.
About terminology I could use and, potentially getting asked questions and how I was going to handle that. And essentially, I used the word attraction. I didn't use the word sex or anything like that. I just said I'm attracted to, in this case, I said other species. I left it very wide open. And
oh my god.
My mom's awesome. She didn't pry me, say, oh, are you screwing your dog? Are you...
Like fucking hell she didn't. No self-respecting parent would be like, oh, you do that? Oh, okay, that's normal. No! No, you stupid dumbass. Any parent would be like, what the fuck do you mean you're attracted to other species? Like, what do you mean? Like, are you banging the family dog? Do I need to send you to one of those camps? Like, no fucking parent would be like, oh, this is normal. I just want to bash my head off my recording desk. Oh my god.
Screwing my horses, blah, blah, blah. She was just like, okay, thank you for telling me. I'm glad that you found someone who you're happy with, and I'm glad this worked out. And that's all I wanted for you is to just to...
Actually, I'd like to retract that previous statement. The only way a parent would be 100% okay with this and not ask any questions whatsoever, the only way that would ever happen is if the parent is doing it themselves. If that's the case, you need to call the cops. CPS needs to be called. And someone please call the adoption agency for poor Lassie. Because clearly that household is a cesspool that just needs to be bleached, burnt, and rebuilt. And then bleached and burned again. Oh, come on, I can do this. It's only fucking, was it 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Only 7 more minutes.
Someone would be happy. But then she also said, I'm worried about the fact that your partner isn't going to live as long as you, and, seeing you fall apart when she's gone.
Oh.
And that's a large part of the pain of this orientation, is that many species don't live but a fifth of our lives. But I've come out to a couple of my friends, at least 5 other people, and I've never once had a bad experience with that. And that's not to say it's 100% safe. You got to know your audience, and you got to choose your words wisely.
Absolutely. And what's great...
You came out to 6 people in total, and not one of them raised an eyebrow and told you that you are clearly in need of mental help. And they didn't bother to be a good friend, an actual good friend, and book you a trip to the hospital. All I'm going to say is if that was me that he came out to, the first thing I would have done is I would have called up the psych ward and booked him a much-needed appointment. Oh my god. I know I'm going to get backlash for this video, but frankly, I don't care. You can suck my nuts. Because this crap right here is...
is that now we have these resources like the Zooier the Now podcast that people can watch, and
which will be terminated very soon,
really
again.
Understand these kinds of nuances about what...
I'd also like to point out again, like I did before in the beginning of this video, that freaking piece of podcast needs to be removed from all platforms. And I know it has been removed, and they just keep making a new one. And to be perfectly honest, I honestly hope the other co-host fucking dies. The sooner we get rid of the other co-host, the sooner the podcast will just die. I'm not sorry for saying that, but that's what needs to happen. Because before long, this freaking movement is going to turn into the we're going to turn your kids gay bullshit. So I say nip it in the butt while it's still young. And just leave it out to die.
It means to be a zoophile and how, you know, it's not about the fetishists and the people that are bestialists. You know, where those sorts of things are very antithetical to
Stop making up words, you blonde bitch.
our orientation. And what gets me too is that, you know, people treating animals as property and objects like they're stuffed toys, basically. And it's like,
Animals are property.
I
Know
would
the
say
fucking
that
law.
addressing their sexual needs
Ugh.
helps them relax, lowers their aggression.
You also know what helps them relax and lower aggression in animals? Getting them fixed, you blonde bimbo. That's what a legit and normal animal owner would do. Because that's the proper thing to do. They don't go around and start whining and dining their animals. No. They take them to the fucking vets. There's a reason the procedure's called snip snip. Ugh. And keep in mind, this clearly blonde woman claims to live in the US. And she does not understand how simple etiquette and laws work. Or simple morals, for that fact. Ugh. God damn.
And overall helps them feel better. And I'm not saying somebody putting themselves onto the animal, because 99% of the time the animal is the one that's initiating that kind of contact. Like, you know, a lot of people might be familiar with like a dog humping their leg, for instance. That dog sees you as a member of the pack or the herd, and that's how they see.
Herd and pack are two different things. Herd is for cows, horses, any type of mammal like that. A pack is basically dogs, wolves, coyotes. I swear to God, I am losing brain cells by the minute just doing this reaction video. And I haven't even drank anything today. Ugh.
And they're the one that's kind of initiating the action, and overall it helps them with their wellness and their well-being.
And another side note, if your dog is doing that to you constantly, it's time to schedule a trip to the vet. And it's already been scientifically proven that doing that actually helps them a lot more than just leaving it. You can ask any professional vet. They'll tell you the same damn thing.
So, I just wanted to make a quick note of that. It's part of something that I'm reading from the resources section.
What fucking resource section are you reading? Who threw this together? A teenager who doesn't understand basic etiquette? A lonely housewife locked in a basement with nothing better to do? Where are you getting this information from? Because clearly it's not accurate. It's anything but.
Yeah, it's excellent to have all these resources available nowadays, and I'd encourage anyone who's considering coming out to be prepared to answer questions, help people understand.
You should not be encouraging anyone to do this. Ugh. Honestly, I don't get how anyone would want to encourage another person to act this way. I just don't get it. Evolution really took a step backwards with these people. Even friggin' Einstein was like, nope, I'm out. Like, all common sense, knowledge, and smarts have left the building. Ugh.
Yeah, but
You know,
also,
and yeah, cite examples like this is super helpful.
yeah, and we're not promoting it. We're not trying to force people to be a part of it.
Again, more lies. You are promoting it by trying to convince others that it's normal and that they should be okay and come out as what they are. Instead of telling them that no, this is wrong, you should not be doing this, and you should in fact be ashamed of doing it. So, yes, you are promoting it. Don't fucking lie.
Or anything like that. We're just explaining our orientation and what it means.
You're explaining absolutely nothing. Everything you have explained thus far, I have already disproven by either common sense or basic facts. That is available to anyone with a brain and a computer or a device that accesses Google. Ugh. Come on, you can do this. Only a few more minutes. A few more minutes of pure insanity.
Really, to be a zoophile. And I think that's what's really beautiful about this conversation that we're having.
There's nothing beautiful about this.
Yeah, I'm honored once again to be here and be able to talk about these things openly.
You should not be honored. You should be ashamed.
See the day where I could feel comfortable doing this.
You should not be comfortable
and
doing
I
it.
hope it helps others.
It will
You
not.
out there,
I hope
be
so
it
too.
whether you have the same sorts of feelings as us or you're just trying to learn more
Nope.
about who we are.
No one wants to learn who you are.
That we have more of a
No one wants to learn who you are. No one wants to know you. If there's anything in this world you should be, it is ashamed of what you have become. Because you are a failure at life.
positive kind of response to this video. I know that there's going to be quite a shitstorm, probably caused by me publishing this sort of thing.
Oh, you have
publicly,
no
but
idea the shitstorm
I
you've
do hope
unleashed.
that people will understand, and
Lady, you have no idea of the can of shite that you have opened upon yourself. You have no idea. The fact that this video is even still up amazes me.
maybe they're more neutral. They don't want to burn me on a stake, but they also maybe don't fully accept.
Oh, no, I don't want to burn you at the stake. I just want to leave you out in the hot sun until you either come to your senses and realize that your life choices are wrong and you should probably reprioritize things in life, or I would just throw you in a padded cell and throw away the key. Actually, you know what? I'll take option number 2. I'll just lock you in a padded room and throw away the key. Because there is no help for you.
Kind of my views. Yeah, and that's totally fine. When it comes to the laws and legal and all of that, I really think that people should consider whether or not the animal enjoyed the
No. No. The laws are there for a reason. And should you choose to break them, you pay the price at your own convenience. You made the consequence of your actions. Now it's time to pay up. Don't ask anyone to question whether or not the animal, quote, enjoyed it. The laws are there for a reason, and they will remain there for the same reason. The fact that you're trying to say that people should consider whether or not the animal liked it or not, if I could just reach through this screen, I would seriously slap you first with the front of my hand and then the back of my hand. Because you need it. Desperately. And I'm just going to say I don't promote violence. But to someone who works in the animal field, this just irritates me. And people like this only understand one thing. And that is the firm backhand of discipline is the only thing they understand. Because they never received it growing up. So if they receive it now, they might snap out of their hallucinogenic trance and come back to the real world. Again, I don't promote violence onto anyone.
action, not just, the black and white of deciding for that animal that it didn't enjoy it de facto because I said so and that sort of thing. Like, that's kind of my view on that,
And it's horribly misguided.
we can't necessarily judge people's morals
Yes, we can.
just from one single thing that they're into.
Oh, yes, we can.
One aspect of themselves,
Yes, we can.
And that's why.
Honey, we could judge people on far less. And frankly, yes, we are going to judge you by the actions you take. Because that's how judging works. We judge you by your actions. Your actions will register and get the proper judgment that you are deserved. And in this case, the judgment you deserve is of what the actual hell are you doing? You need to smarten up. For your own sake. And the sake of your animals. Please stop being insane.
This might be hard for a lot of people because they're going to see, they know me. They know I'm affectionate and loving and
No one's going to want to know you after this.
See, oh, they're also a zoophile. And I really hope that people don't completely judge my morality off of...
Oh, too late for that. We are far past judging. We are already at the execution stage. You've already made the video, you've made your bed, now you're gonna lie in it. Frankly, I am surprised if your online career will last a week after this. But since, judging by the video, it's already been up for a week, YouTube might not care, but I can't say other platforms that you're involved with are going to feel the same. So all I'll say is, you best love them while you still have them. Because once this storm kicks off fully, you're not going to have any of them left. And I know this because I, myself, I will not name the ones that I have aided in destroying, but I will say that I have helped contribute to the downfall of people like you. Because we don't need you here, we don't want you here, you're not loved nor accepted. Now, if you choose to get help, proper professional help, then maybe we'll start to accept you and love you again. But only if you choose to actually smarten up. But the ball's in your court. Take your shot, or pass the ball.
a single aspect of myself. And I hope they don't judge you either.
Oh, too late.
I hope so too, but like you, I'm prepared for it.
Another thing, you say you're prepared, but in reality, you are nowhere near prepared for the level of judgment you are going to receive. Whether it's justified or not, you are not prepared in any way, shape, or form. At the end of the day, you will be laying in whatever position, bed, couch, floor, it don't matter. You will be laying somewhere and crying. I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
It's an eventuality that we've incurred potentially, and risks must be taken, I believe, in order to help others. And I'm glad I took the risk that resulted in helping you out get to where you are here today.
Thank you.
And I wouldn't take it back for any negative comment.
Well, it was good having you here, and I'm sure that this has answered a lot of people's questions. Gave a
It
little
has
bit
answered
more
no questions.
insight on the conversation, and maybe
It has only given insight that you are both physically insane. You have answered no questions, provided no legitimate proof whatsoever. Not even bothered to mention whatever forum or page or whatever it is you're getting these, quote, facts from. So really, you've done nothing except make yourselves look like the insane individuals that you are.
fulfilled those cravings for some people for more information about somebody who actually practices zoophilia and
Anyone who
has a
practices
need.
it deserves to be shot.
So,
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
sounds good.
Well, we made it to the end, folks. Honestly, I don't even know how to end off this video. Other than, please be smarter than these individuals. Please understand proper right from wrong. And don't do the stupid shit they do. Because the less people like this that are in the world, the better off we as a race will be. Anyway, guys, I'll see you on the next one when my mental state decides to come back to me.